So we have Charles asking, what is an ancient tartan and a modern? His history is only with the clan MacDonald, so he's told, but he's curious what the difference is between the ancient and modern.
That is a really good classic question, which we haven't answered in a while, and it's very good to make sure that people who are new to this know that. So, yes.
A tartan is defined by the thread count. For the one I'm wearing here, let's say, 8 white, 2 black, 36 gray, 8 brown, etc. So when you design a tartan, when you register a tartan, you're just saying the main colors. You're not saying necessarily like Pantone color 86723Z for the red. You're just saying red. Now, way back when, the mills would just weave what they thought were good-looking colors and colors that they could sell. So a particular shade of green, a particular shade of blue, a particular shade of red. Over time, it kind of evolved, and people wanted choices, or the mills wanted to give them choice, or give them the ability to buy 2 things, not necessarily just one. So it evolved into modern colored tartans and ancient colored tartans. It doesn't mean that one is older than the other. It means that the ancient colored tartans are meant to mimic plant dyes, meaning they're supposed to look like it. It doesn't mean that they're older than the modern ones. It just means they're meant to look like it. Ancient, modern, weathered, and muted are generally the accepted 4 color palettes. Modern, the green is going to be a bottle green color, like a beer bottle. The blue is going to be a navy blue. Red is going to be a bold scarlet red. Yellow is going to be a bold yellow color. When you go to the ancient color palette, the red becomes like an orangish kind of color. The green becomes more of a pastel-y light green. The blue becomes sort of a light sky blue. And the yellow becomes a little bit more pale. When you go to muted, the green becomes an olive green. The blue becomes a stormy sky blue. Red becomes more of a blood red, and the yellow becomes a gold. When you move into the weathered color palette, green becomes brown. Blue becomes gray. Red becomes like a salmony kind of red. Not pink, but a salmony red. And the yellow becomes like a dusty kind of light pale yellow. So it's all the same tartan. So if you have MacDonald modern versus MacDonald ancient, they are both MacDonald. They are both 100% acceptable to wear. They are just a different color palette. Think of it this way. It's kind of like driving a Chevy Malibu in dark green or a Chevy Malibu in light green. It's the same car. It's still a Chevy Malibu. It's just a different color of that car. So it's strictly personal preference. It's which one you like better. One is not older, more historical. It's just personal preference.
Yeah, and sometimes the impression we have of vegetable dye colors is actually more of a sense of colors as we've seen fade over time. Like, this vegetable dye faded, and then people are looking at examples of it, and it looks washed out with the colors that Rocky mentioned. And if you went back and saw the kilt, or the
garment,
the great kilt, when it had originally been woven, it very likely could have been as bright as what we consider modern palette, and that's where you get into things like the very specialized color palette of the old Wilsons of Bannockburn colors, where they had a very set of colors they use, which are now considered kind of unique and special, but they don't look weathered or faded or drab or anything like that. So it's definitely a perception thing, and it's definitely more of a modern thing.
1900s.
Yeah, and like we've said, the modern chemical dyes really came in the Victorian age. So it really just comes down to what you like better, how bold you want to be.
Yeah, and the modern and ancient were kind of the first 2 variants. Wilson's Bannockburn is effectively modern colors, with the green being more of an olive green. So it's very, very similar to modern. Modern colors and ancient colors were the first 2 to kind of become more popular and standardized, if you will. Weathered tartans, or reproduction tartans as they're also known, didn't come into existence until the 1950s with DC Dalgleish basically saying, "Hey, we found this old piece of cloth, and we're accurately reproducing it, so
Looks
we're
like
calling
it sat in the bog.
reproduction," which is a bit of a marketing story, but that's neither here nor there. And then as those colors became kind of popular, Loch Heron did it. I think it was the mid '90s. House of Edgar started doing their muted range, which is similar but not quite the same. So it just kind of evolved over time into giving customers more options for their own personal taste, their own personal flair in their outfit, which colorway they like the best.
Yep.
In my mind, more choices is a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
I'd say for him, it may be more a question of which McDonald are you following?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
McDonald, Ardenmarken, McDonald, Clam Rattled, and
all of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. But yeah, don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. When it comes to the color palettes of a particular tartan, just go with the one that you like or matches your colors that you're looking for or whatever the best in that particular tartan.
Yep.